Hey there, adventurers. I'm Norwolf. Welcome to my role-playing game realm, and this is session 19 of my Powers Perils solo play. So, when last we left our intrepid adventurers, Gildor, Raffin, and Marazan had made their way further into the dark, wet, collapsing ruins of an old underground complex. They had encountered a Charontes demon, assuming that's how you say that, and managed to defeat it. They are a black-robed skeletal being whose eyes burn with black fire. An aura of evil power surrounds them. So after they defeated him, the next chamber they'd gone into, they'd come across another Corporal Edimmu, or white. But this one was dressed in plate mail armor, wielding a magic axe, if I remember correctly. And they found it very difficult to damage him because of the natural armor value of 6 for the Corporal Edimmu, as well as the armor value of 4 from the armor, the plate mail. They had to do more than 10 points of damage to do any sort of damage to it, so they sort of nickeled and dimed it a few times, and Gildor managed to get off another smokeless flame. So, of particular note, with the characteristic changes and everything that Gildor got from that battle, his max EL now for Elder Spells has gone to 5. Now a 5, which means he can increase his Smokeless Flame going forward if he used to cast it some more. Be able to get expertise points against it, and he can now go up to 5 for an expertise level. So they are going to continue their trek through this ruin. They are now searching for an artifact that the Chaos Wizard that they killed earlier was looking for. They want to basically retrieve it and make sure that no other Chaos Wizards or forces of chaos or whatever can get a hold of that magic item. So let's continue our way through here. Raffin is leading the way, and they make their way northward, retracing their steps, sloshing through the water as they go. And let's see. They find a door. Hard to tell on this map, but there is a door right there. And let's see, I think there's another door over here. Why is that so hard to see? Anyways, Raffin will do his best to try and beat on the door again. Again, these are rusted iron doors. They have a resistance of 10, which is basically 10 hit points. So Raffin's strength gets divided by a d10 by 1, so he does 42 points of damage to the door as he hits it, but the door doesn't budge. He notices that the door actually swings outwards towards him, and so he's basically jamming it into the door frame. So they decide that maybe their best course of action is to try the next door down the way here. That one actually opens away from them. Raffin's going to try that one. And again, same old rusted doors. His strength is divided by 5, and he does, 8 points of damage to it? Or if it's rounded up or down. But anyways, it's just about knocked off its hinges. He'll try again. And Probably does enough points, not enough damage to essentially break the door open. And before them, oops, you see another waterlogged chamber. And in this room, looks like this may have once been a meeting room. There's the remnants of a large table, bits and pieces of chairs and things like that. They'll make their way in, take a quick look around. And again, they see one corner of the room is collapsing in on itself. There's various bits of rubble and things that have fallen from the ceilings. There's a door off to the east end of the room. And nothing much more here. It's dark, damp, and cold. They'll make their way over to this other door. Again, Raffin will do his best to try and beat the door open. He's dividing his strength by 4 this time. He's doing just over 10 points of damage, which is enough to actually break the door open on the first try. And why am I not seeing anything here? Okay, slight correction to the map later, and Raffin opens the door and sees another waterlogged chamber beyond. This one is, again, another large hall. Sound of rushing water can be heard off in the distance. Actually, water seems to be flowing into this chamber from beyond. As they enter the chamber itself, you can see water flowing in from the northeast. A hallway that heads off into to the east from them. You can see another archway to the west here. And the north end of the room is basically collapsed. Raffin will take a quick look down the hallway here and sees that, again, this chamber is basically had the south wall collapse open and heads into an area that they previously traversed. Maybe not. No, actually, they have been in here yet. But again, just to the south of him here, he can also hear the rush of water. Probably coming from this river flow that must be off to the east. They spent a few minutes exploring the room, just to verify that there's nothing of interest in here. And from waterway to the northeast, suddenly a creature appears. The creature knows that they are here. It has a chance to surprise them, but they don't really have a chance of surprising the creature. So we'll see if this creature ambushes this group or not. Again, ambush. We're underground. Base 20% chance. I'm going to give it a bit of a bonus since probably double that. Say it's a 40%. 54. So it does not surprise them. And the encounter distance, going to be standard encounter distance again. Standard encounter distance. Counter setup. Oh, there it is. Okay. Counter located D6 plus 10 inches away. I have a feeling that it's going to have to be closer than that. So what they see coming around the corner here through the water is essentially something called a Nabora. A Nabora, ape-headed serpent with black and red iridescent scales, averages about 15 feet in length. Their cunning and sadism is noteworthy. Two are encountered. They are in their den. Die 6+2 eggs are present. And here we have a single one. Notable about these creatures is that they have a poison. Every time they score damage in combat, roll a BL4. Poison affects the victim. Makes the appropriate EL2 flaming death and any damage from the attack itself. Nabora may use poison once per turn, once every 4 phases basically, and 3 times per encounter. And no goblins were encountered with this. So, anyways, we have possibility that somebody might get poisoned. Now the flaming death does, let's see, EL2 flaming death, in addition to the attack scored, attack damage that it scored. Poison itself lasts, or the effects of the poison, the flaming death lasts for 3 phases. It does 2d6 plus 6 damage the first phase, and then 3 damage per phase after that. So let's see if that affects anybody here. And as we get the stats written down. And I'll be back in a second once I've got things recorded here. Great, got our stats. We have OCV 10, DCV 2, so offensive combat value of 10, defensive combat value of 2, natural weapon index of -2, so he gets -2 on his attack rolls. Has a strength bonus of +2 and a stamina bonus +2. Strength bonus will probably be the only one particularly useful there. Doesn't have a dex, and the agility didn't have a bonus. His movement rate is 6, so his phase movement rate is 2-1-2-1. He has a natural armor value of 4, a magic defense value of 13, and a combat difficulty factor of 5. He has a damage tolerance value of -4, and it's starred, which means he fights until he's dead, until he's effectively has 34 hit points. And of course the hit points is 30. So now, getting into our phase sequence, mana allocation. I don't think Gildor is going to be collecting any mana here. Missile fire, I think it's probably worth Gildor taking a shot at this thing. The range, he does see him. The range to this, is 45 feet, which is basically 55 inches. And Gildor with his bow has, so 5 inches puts it at short range on the +4 line. So Gildor takes a shot at this thing on the, right, so one thing I didn't mention is with the stat changes and everything that he got, his bow skill has gone from EL1 to EL2. And the magic bow, so he's subtracting 2 for his EL, 6 for the magic bow, and he's on the +4 line. So he's subtracting a total of 8. So 45 on the +4 is going to be a shield hit. This thing doesn't have a shield, so it's a regular hit. And he's doing a d6 plus 3 points of damage. 8 points against the natural armor value of 4, so 4 points get through. it has left. And we get into movement melee. This thing, so it can move 20 feet this first phase. So it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20 to there. Raffin will actually move up to intercept 5, 10, oops, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20. Marazan can move 30 feet. 5, 15, 20, 25, 30. Doesn't quite get there. And with an OCV of 10, this thing has a attack priority order of 5, so it's going to be, and the Raffin's attack priority with his Magic Bastard Sword is 5 as well, so Raffin's going first. So it has a DCV of 2, Raffin's OCV is 11, so Raffin is on the +9 line. Raffin is subtracting EL7, so subtract, oopsie, EL7. I think Raffin's EL went up. Bastard Sword, yeah, that would be more than 56, so actually, I think I've missed updating. His EL has actually gone to 8. We're subtracting 8 and 4 for the magic sword, so -12. -12 on his +9 line. 50, 40, 38 is going to be just a regular hit. And on a regular hit, he is doing D6 +5. 7 points. 4 are blocked, so only 3 get through. That is oops, 23. And now this thing attacks him back. Raffin has a DCV of 10. OCV versus OCV 10. Or it's OCV 10 versus DCV 10. On the 0 line, he's subtracting 2. Raffin with his shield is adding shield skill not go up. 17, 19, so he's actually his shield skill actually. He's subtracting 5, or adding 5 to the creature's roll, so the creature is only adding a total of 3. On the 0 line, so 59 is going to be probably a miss. 0 line, yep. 50, 62, so yeah, that's definitely a miss. And I think the next round, I don't think Raffin's going to be shooting this time. He will move though. So Marazan moves up. Raffin will shift over a bit as they slog through the water. And let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. So we get into the next melee portion of the phase. Her attack priority is 4, so she's going first. 2 opponents on the stake gives her an extra -5 to her roll. I don't believe her skill went up. That's a sword. He's got that 38, 40. Yeah, it's getting close. No, still a 7. So she's subtracting 6 and 7 and the extra 5. So she's subtracting 18 from her roll. And that's going to be a, what is that? An 8 on the +8 line. 8 on the +8. Going to be a severe hit. And she is doing a D10 +10 on a severe. So 9. So that's going to be enough to damage her weapon again. Got 4 points of damage on it. Not double, so it's not, doesn't have a chance of breaking. And he has done 16 points of damage to this thing. Broadsword. Wood has 7 left. Raffin will take his swing at it. Raffin is now subtracting 8, 12, 17 from his roll. And that is actually going to be close to a miss. Did I see he's on? He was on the +9 line. So subtracting 17, that's going to be shield hits or just a regular hit. Which he's doing a d6 +5. And that's going to be 11 points less for 7 points. So it's at 0, but it goes to -4 before it drops. It gets another attack. It is attacking. It's going to stay on Raffin, just doesn't have any particular reason to change. Both Raffin has hit it twice, and Marazan's hit it once. I think if Marazan had maybe done more damage, it might have considered swapping, but so it is on the 0 line and adding 3, so 45 on the 0 line. Going to be a shield hit. Pretty sure it can't damage. Doing a d6 +2, 3 points. So that basically just bounces off Raffin's shield. For it to even damage the shield, it would have needed to have done. This is now 18, so it would have had to do more than half. So 7 or more points, and it would have damaged the shield. Or more than 7 points. Okay. So we get into, that was the second phase, phase 3. And Gildor will make his way up and around. Also take a swing at that thing. Gildor's attack priority is 5, same as Raffin's, but Marazan gets to go first. Marazan had a -18 or something like that, and that's going to be a deadly hit. Not what she was looking for. Considering this thing only had 4 hit points left. 3d10 +11. And that's going to be enough to damage her sword again. And do the last 4 points of damage. With her broadsword. And our 2 fellow companions here can also take their swings to try and get that last 4 hit points. So Gildor, 80 misses, and Raffin, oops. Raffin is going to be doing a deadly as well. Not really what he was looking for here. That's actually going to be 9, 11. So he's doing 3d10 plus 11. Not what he was looking for. That is going to be double his ego on a sword. I'm going to do another point of damage to his sword. It had 5, 6, 11 fatigue left. Basically cancels that, so he's got a 24% chance of breaking his sword. Oops. 25 is not going to break it. So he will get 4 points as well. And like I said, Gildor missed. So this creature is now dead. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any pockets for any treasure. So it's nothing of real value there. But it didn't hit. Would have been interesting to see that poison affect one of these guys. So that is that. Let's clear the creature off the battle map here and carry on with exploring the underground ruins. Our characters make their way to the west. I think we'll have Marazan kind of lead the way this time, and the others follow. Comes up to the door, and she tries to beat it down. Her strength is 40. It gets divided by 8. So she does 5 points of damage to the door. Doesn't quite open it. Obviously, if there's something in the room now, it knows that they're there. And this time she breaks the door open. Again, I have this. Oh, there we go. Worked this time. And they see another water-filled chamber as they slosh through roughly a foot of water. Although to the north, there's an alcove that is just above the water level, step or two that goes up to a raised platform. On that raised platform, they can see the remnants of maybe a throne or a chair, so perhaps this was an audience chamber. Off to the west here, they see a door, closed door, another rusty iron door. Doesn't seem to be any creatures in here. Again, they'll take a quick look around and don't find anything of particular interest. The any sort of decorations or adornments on the walls have basically fallen into complete disrepair. Chips of plaster and whatever illuminations may have been on the wall have fallen into the water. As I said, the chair that may have been, or the throne or something that was up on the top here is fallen into decay. So they proceed towards the door in the west. The door looks a little fancier this time. Got some sort of ancient markings or inscriptions on it, maybe some runes carved into the door. Seems to be, they get the impression that it's leading into some sort of a special chamber beyond or something like that. Again, Marazan approaches the doorway. The others following fairly close behind. And she will beat on the door. So she does 10 points of damage, which is enough to destroy the door. And they see stairs leading up. This door, although it opened into the room, it basically fell off its hinges, got smashed through the doorway. And they find something that looks like some sort of a temple, and the floor is dry in this area ahead of them. Like I said, there's steps here leading up into this raised chamber. Seems to be a crumbling temple to some undeterminable chaos god. The remnants of some weird depictions are on the walls of this chamber. And up ahead they see something that chills them a bit. Another demon, except this one looks a little nastier than the last one they found. A Nergali demon. Nergali are reptile-winged with humanoid form and an average height of 8 feet. They have distended, hideous faces, coal-black eyes, and vicious claws. They are always armored and ready to kill. When they are encountered, they are armed with a flail whip, mace, or club. They are immune to hell powers, afflicted by light and silver, heal 2 damage for light, +2 for silver. The EL with the weapons they carry is 6. It is EL 4 magic enchanted for damage only. So let's see, this guy has a mace with a EL 4 enchantment. So let me write out the creature here, and we will be right back. Right, so we've got the Nergali demon. He has 24 hit points and a damage tolerance value of -4 at the guard, so he fights to -4, essentially 28 hit points effectively. OCV of 8, and it has a bracket at 12, so if somebody is attacking him that is using a silvered or silvered or light, or attacks them with light, they'll be using the bracketed OCV DCV. Otherwise, it's OCV 8, DCV 7. Strength bonus +2, stamina bonus +1, dex bonus 0, agility bonus +1. Strength bonus probably the only one that's going to come into play. He is a flying creature, so his movement rate is 12 on the ground, 36 when he's flying. Has a natural armor value of 6 and a magic defensive value of 9. Combat difficulty factor of 3. And that EL4 magic mace intended for just damage has a weapon strength bonus of +3 instead of +1. On a shield hit or charging, it does +2. And the interesting thing about the blunt weapons like the mace is on a severe or deadly hit is actually a +4 for weapon strength bonus or damage. So the attack party for this, I didn't write down. Normally a mace is an 8. It being magic modifies that by, let's see, weapons EL divided by 2 round up, so it's going to add or subtract 2 from its attack priority, which is going to be a 6, so it's still going after all of our characters here. So let's get into our first battle here with these guys. Put our pretty little demon away. Let's get him onto the battle map here. Oops. What I wanted. Clicking the wrong button. And he is over here by the altar that's up in this raised area. Okay, so I don't think we have any mana allocation for this round. Or will Gildor do some sort of a spell? I think he wants to be closer before he does a spell. Get these guys into their squares. All right. This guy will move up to attack our peoples here. These demons, of course, are chaos aligned, and of course the chaos creatures have no appreciation or no love for elders. Elder creatures are law, so it will be very aggressive towards our characters. Marazan will move up, as will Raffin and Gildor. Gildor will hang back just a bit. He does want to try and get a spell off in this thing. They won't be able to surround it. It'll basically maneuver to a point where if they try and get behind it, it'll back up and all the rest. So the best they can do is attack its front flank or front face. It moves faster than they do anyways. So we get into our first round of melee. So, as usual, Marazan attacks first with her superior magic weapon. ECV of 7, so she's on the +3 line, and she's subtracting 18 as usual, seems, or as often. That's going to be a 13 total on the +3 line, which is going to be 18, yep, 13. That's going to be a regular hit. I missed a severe by 1. This thing has a natural armor value of 6, so it's going to be a little difficult to get through. Do a whole lot of damage to it. And she is doing a d6 + 6. Ooh, 6 points. So, 6 points actually get through. Marazan with her broadsword. Oh, and of course what I didn't do from the last battle was all the experience and everything. I will, actually, it's not going to make a difference on this battle, but I will tally up the points separately. So it is at 18. And that is going to be enough to, oh, no, that's not going to damage her sword. Next up is Marazan, or Raffin, I mean. Raffin is going to be on the +4 line. He is subtracting 17. 2. 2 on the +4 line. Going to be a severe hit. Glad it's not a, well, part of me is glad it's not deadly because he doesn't need to put too much strain on his weapon. On a severe, he's doing a d10 + 9. Wow. 19 less 6. 13 points. His bastard sword. It has 5, well, +4, so effectively 9 hit points left. He is definitely damaging his weapon. It's not double his fatigue, so no chance of breakage. And now this thing attacks. It is going to swing at 1 to 3 Marazan. Would swing at Raffin. It is, oh, what? It has an EL of 4, 5, 6. It has an EL 6 with its weapon. So, so he's subtracting 6, but adding 3, 5. So he's subtracting 1 from his roll. EL 6 weapon skill. He's subtracting 1, and he is on the OCD 8 versus DCV 10. He's on the -2 line. Subtracting 1. 97 is going to be a miss. Right, that is the end of phase 1. Phase 2. Raffin is going to get off a quick spell of some sort. What does he want to do? Something different than Smokeless Flame maybe this time? He will... let's see. Take too long to get a lightning off. Lightning Swarm surrounds him and can affect his friends. Telepath powers, I think we're going to pass on those. Travel powers. Cold arrow, fire arrow. Let's do a cold arrow. And gather 3 mana per phase. If he gets his language off, he can cast it at heal 1. Base mana costs 2. Heal 1, he needs 4, so he can't cast it at that. Or he needs 4 mana if he wants to cast it at 1. Heal 5. Heal 1, he's only gathering 3, so he can't. Won't be able to cast it at heal 1. 1 phase, so I guess he's doing a 0. So he will use his language to get an effective EL of 1, because that'll subtract an additional 2 from his roll. And his language with Tongue of the Cid is 80. So 80, 35, he succeeds in his language. So mana allocation, he is gathering his 2 mana. And he is subtracting 2 and adding 9. So adding 7 to his roll on the baseline 5. This could be good or bad. Adding 7. 56, 63. So it does not succeed. It's a within 25, so he gets 1 expertise in his spell, but doesn't affect the creature. So he gets 1 expertise with his cold. Okay. Well, that wasn't particularly useful for Gildor. Now, movement melee. So Marazan gets to swing first at this thing. Again, she's subtracting 18. And that's going to be a deadly hit. So it is going to be finished. Of course, she didn't want to do a deadly. So 3d10 plus 11. It is subtracting 6. So she's doing 27 points of damage. And 27 is not going to be double the fatigue, but it is going to damage her weapon again. I think they're going to be heading back to town to get some repairs done on their weapons. And of course she does -9 broadsword and finishes the creature off. Both, well, not both. I guess Raffin can get his swing in just to see if he can get part of that 9 points as well. 50 is going to be, with his minuses, basically a shield hit, which becomes a hit. He's doing d6 plus 5. So 9, so 3 points get through. So Raffin only gets 3. Is Bastard Sword. And the creature is down. It lets out a horrendous screech. Says something about having failed in its duties to protect that which is sacred, and disappears. So it's gone. Characters take a quick look around the room, and down to the south they see stairs going down to that door that they couldn't open. On the altar itself, there is an orb with some chaotic-looking ruins. It gives off a kind of a nasty presence, just an aura of evil. Our characters will go up there and take a quick look to see what they can do with this thing. Gildor is of the mind that Gildor is not sure what to do with it, even with his limited magic knowledge. He feels that it's probably best to wrap this thing up in something and drop it into a bag and take it to his master who trained him, Lenderin Goldleaf, the elder wizard / Sid magician / druid that trained him, and see what they can do about likely destroying this item. Gildor feels the power of it and knows that any dispel magic or whatever spells that he's got won't be very effective, because his dispel is basically a 0 against chaos 0. So he's hoping that his master will be able to do something with it, or at least hide it away somewhere until they can find somebody that can destroy this evil item. So that is essentially the underground complex here. If I hide the vision and all the rest. So again, this map was created by a neutral party. I'll put a link to their Patreon down below. What they didn't really explore is this river area off to the east, but the one creature that was there did come in and attack them. That was that ape-headed snake creature. They will make their way back out of here and back to their camp outside. So they had camped somewhere down to the south here. Whoops. And they'll meet up with their the two guards that were taking care of the camp for them. So I'm going to do up some experience here for the 2 battles that I didn't do. And I will be back momentarily. Okay. So let's see. Gildor did 4 points of damage with his bow. He gets 20 combat experience points, 1 characteristic, and 10 expertise with his bow from the combat difficulty factor 5 of that snake. Raffin did a total of 14 points of damage, so he's getting 70 combat experience points, 2 characteristics, 10 expertise with his bastard sword, and 1 expertise in a shield. I don't think they had a shield hit on this one. Marazan, she did 20 points of damage. She gets 80 combat experience points, 2 characteristics, 10 expertise with her broadsword, and 1 shield expertise. In that battle, I'll add those things into their character sheets for the next time around. Oops. On the next battle here, let's see. I screwed up on Gildor. That spell, the cold arrow, actually has to cast this spell on an arrow itself and then shoot the arrow at the creature. So basically, he'll have not done anything in that combat. So he doesn't get his 1 expertise in cold arrow. He didn't spend the 2 mana on that spell. But Raffin did 16 points of damage, combat difficulty factor 3, so he gets 42 combat experience points, 1 characteristic, 6 expertise with his bastard sword, 6 expertise with his shield, because there was a shield hit there, if I remember correctly anyways. Marazan did 13 points of damage, he gets 39 combat experience points, 1 characteristic from that, 6 expertise with her broadsword, and 1 expertise with her shield, even though she didn't get a shield hit as usual. Wielding a shield in combat, they get at least 1 expertise for that. And that beats that stuff. So they'll make it back to camp. They'll sort through the various and sundry items that they picked up in this place between plate armor, magic mace. They got a magic axe out of here. A white. What else? Not sure who's going to carry the magic items. I think. Well, actually, let's look. Raffin. Not sure either one of these are proficient with a mace. Nope, no club or mace skill. And she does not have mace either. Her axe skill is 2. His axe skill is 2 as well. You can go to 9. Who wants to learn mace? I think Marazan. No. Raffin's going to take the axe. Marazan is going to take the mace. Pretty sure Gildor doesn't know mace, does he? Tortor. Nope. Okay. And then they've got various coins and gems and whatnot. Oh, I'm pretty sure there's something else in there. There's the talisman that they picked up for immunity to poison. Of course, I forgot about that, and nobody was carrying that. That was off of the Charontes demon. There is... there's nothing else in the temple. So the Nergali does not have any lair treasure. So basically he was a summoned creature that was there to protect the artifact, or the magic item. I wouldn't necessarily call it an artifact, other than old and wanted by the chaos folks. So no other treasure for that guy. Cool. So they will spend the night here. I don't know if anybody's got any wounds. No wounds on Gildor. No wounds on... Wow, they came through this without a unscathed, other than some damage to their weapons and things. Yeah. Okay. Well, that went a little differently than I expected. I think they got a little lucky and managed to avoid any real damage. So they're up here in the hills. They will camp for the night, and we will pick up next time with their ongoing travels. They're still looking for where these orcs are coming from. Obviously, the orcs that were in this encampment, or this kind of ruined shack area, weren't the source of the orcs that are plaguing this area, so they will likely continue their trek through the hills here, looking for an orc encampment of some sort. So again, thanks for joining me, everyone, and I hope you have a great day.